Okay, so today we are going to learn how to access West Virginia content standards and objectives from the Department of Education's website. And you're going to learn how to search for the certain CSOs that you'll need for the purposes of this class. Also, this applies later on in your educational career if you decide to teach in West Virginia. You'll need to know how to access each one of these correctly. So the first thing that you're going to do for this week is you're going to log on, of course. You should already be logged in since you're accessing this. And then you're going to go over to the lessons module. These are all the lessons and everything that we have. So you're going to click on this week's lesson, and then I have two links here underneath this module. The first one's the interactive version, and the second one is the policy version. I want you to copy and paste the policy version in another window, please. So it's going to bring up the content standards and objectives policies. Now, as you can see, each content area has its own document. So this is the one for English language arts, and this is the one for math, and then this is also for math, and I'll explain a little bit more about this here in a second. Science, science right here. So there's several different policies here. So in 2010, I believe, West Virginia adopted Common Core standards as part of their language and the way they constructed their CSOs. So if you go up here to the interactive CSOs, you'll see this page right here. It's really actually nice. They didn't have this when I was teaching in West Virginia, and I wish they did. So if you look down here in red, kindergarten and first grade must use next generation CSOs for ELA and math. So these are the ones that have been adopted from Common Core. And they also have listed the ones that they used to use. K through 12 must use the next generation for social studies. So as you can see, Common Core has just come out with social studies CSOs, I believe. And so what you're going to do to find, if you're looking for kindergarten and first grade English or math, you're going to have to go back to the policy screen, or social studies, you're going to have to go back to the policy screen. But for everything else, you can look for it right here. So if you wanted to go second grade English language arts, and well, this is the kindergarten, sorry. Second grade, get the CSOs for second grade. So you have second grade English language arts right here. So you're going to scroll down here and you're going to look and see how they're labeled. So reading language arts is the way they used to be labeled. It's called English language arts now. It's no big deal. So you'll see this up here, reading language arts.s.2.1. So these are reading language arts for students second grade. This is the first skill set. So down here, they're all labeled according to the different standards. If you keep on scrolling down, so these are all the second grade reading language arts standards that they have. So they have ones for writing, and they have ones for reading. And they also have ones for speaking, listening, and media literacy. Okay, so if you were going to be doing a lesson plan based on like a writing unit using music and teaching a musical concept and a writing concept at the same time, you would go to second grade, that's the grade level you decided on, and you're looking for the specific standards, the CSOs that you're going to be using. So this one looks really nice for a writing and music lesson combined. So this is RLA.O.2.2.3. So this is develop a story with proper sequence, beginning, middle, end, containing the main idea and supporting details. So if we wanted to write a story using music, we would put on some music and they would listen to it and they would write a story based upon what they've heard. So this would be how you would correlate those two standards. Okay, so let's go back up and search for a few more. So if I wanted to do, let's see, math for fourth grade, I would go to Get CSO and they would come up. Now remember, the only time that you use the next generation policy documents is when you're doing kindergarten or first grade English language arts or math, or social studies K through 12. So make sure that you're searching the interactive version for everything else. So you've got the different categories up here highlighted in blue. Here's another one, algebra, geometry, that sort of thing. Okay, so let's go take a look at the music standards because they're a little bit different. If I go to music and it says all grades here. So you can scroll down, and the ones that we're going to be using only are the first two, general music grades K through 2 and general music grades 3 through 5. So if you're doing a second grade lesson for your final project, you're going to go down here, music, general music grades K through 2, get CSOs. Okay, so these are divided up very similarly to any other subject area. So they have different, areas of interest or areas of teaching. So the first one deals with performing, the second one deals with exploring, creating, relating. Okay, so relating is the one that everyone goes to when they develop their final project. I would encourage you not to do that because this is already going to be kind of the basis of your lesson anyways. So understand the relationships between music and the other arts and disciplines outside the arts. Anybody can say that any lesson plan that we've developed in our class, by the end of this class, can have that standard and objective. So we're not going to use that for the purposes of our course. So I would really like for you to deal with the first three, performing, exploring, or creating. Okay, so these are all the standards from K through 2. So it's not grade specific. It's kind of, they've done it early elementary and late elementary. So we're primary and intermediate. So here are the performing standards where they're actually physically doing something. They're not looking at something or reading something or interpreting something. They're physically doing something. So demonstrate A-B form through movement. You just got done doing that with your rakes of mallow. Perform an accompaniment to a song, rhythm instruments, melodic instruments, or body percussion. We've done that before in this course. So if your lesson plan had that kind of aspect in it where your students were actually creating a body percussion to accompany, a story or something like that, that would be this would be the standard that you would want to use right here. So if you go down here, you're probably not going to use this one exploring that much. I would probably keep it with performing or creating down here. Create appropriate sounds to accompany stories or poems. This would be a great one for you to use if you're doing a sequencing lesson. And so you're telling a story and you're saying this happened first, second, third, fourth, and you're creating a musical composition to accompany that story. This would be an appropriate one. Awesome. Compose a rhythmic or melodic pattern to represent a character in a story. Hey, these are really great. So these are some ideas that you could use in your own final project if you'd like to. So that's how you look at the music ones. Let's go back over here. It's the same thing for grades 3 through 5. So they're grouped together in intermediate grades. So they still have the, delineations of performing, exploring, and creating. But as you can see, the performing and the exploring are much, much broader. So if you decide to do a 4th grade lesson plan, you would have to come to these and look at these standards to see if you're teaching a grade appropriate musical concept as well as a grade appropriate concept from another subject area. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to go back to the policies page, the very first one. I'm going to hit my back button several times because there we go. So, and I'm going to look for if I wanted to do English language arts for 1st grade. So I'm going to look at the NGOs, or next generation standards right here. And I'm going to download it as a PDF if I want to. So it's going to pop up a new document. Natalie Tennant's name is going to be on here because she's the Secretary of State. And we're going to scroll down. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to scroll down here. So, too far. So remember, we're just using these for kindergarten or 1st grade. Sorry, everybody. So yeah, so the NGOs are the ones that they develop Common Core standards for. So I was right. Okay, sure. Good. Don't get me started on content standards and objectives. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so you're going to skip all of this. These are all things that you'll need to know if you are whenever you do become a teacher. However, for our purposes, we're just going to skip all of these. Okay, so it starts on page 14 of this document if you wanted to do ELA standards for kindergarten and first grade. So the first standard is reading standards, and these are all the things that they're going to be able to do at the distinguished mastery, above mastery, mastery, partial mastery, or novice levels for reading skills. And here are the objectives down here. So this is all just language. These are the rubrics that you would use if you were to give a distinguished to a kindergarten student. They're able to retell literary and informational texts, identify story elements, key details, main ideas, themes, make connections between individuals, events, ideas, or texts. Excuse me. And they're also able to do the rest of these things down on this left-hand category. So all of these down here, it says cluster, key IDs, and details. So these are the objectives. So this is how you're going to label them. I wish I could highlight in here, but I can't. So it says ELA.K.R.C1.1. So this is English Language Arts Kindergarten Reading Cluster 1, the first objective here. So with prompting and support, ask and answer questions about key details in a literary text. So that's how you would put that in your lesson plan once you're done. I think we've already gone over those. But this is how you can look up your CSOs and your objectives for your lesson plan. So remember, the next generation content standards and objectives are for social studies, first and second grade reading and math. So everything else uses the interactive CSOs. And those are how you access those. So this week's assignment is for you to find specific standards for you to copy and paste into your assignment so that I know that you're able to do this before we start working on our final projects, which are the next few weeks. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email, text, or call, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.